What's going on, folks? We are back with a collab show where stories are shared. We got a very special guest today, and I look forward to this interview. Before we reach out to our special guest of the day, people say TGIF. That's their favorite word to use. And I think you should say that for every day that you're able to wake up. Every day that you're able to be here, whether it be a Sunday or a Monday or Tuesday, say TGI, whatever that day is, because you were given breath today, you were given a heartbeat. Some people weren't able to wake up today. Some people thought that they made plans for today last night and didn't wake up today. So start treating every day like it is a blessing, that there are miracles, that there are amazing things that are in store for your life. All right, before we get started, you know how I do book of the day. It might look upside down, jacked up, whatever, but I'll give you the name of it. It's called The Outsiders. All right, and The Outsiders is a recommended book by a lot of billionaires, CEOs, successful individuals. It's about outsiders, people that go against the grain, do things differently than what's expected to get different results. So if you are someone that wants to be an outsider, someone that wants to think outside of the comfort zone, outside of the standard, ideology of thinking, read The Outsiders. All right, so we're going to reach out to our special guest. I hope everyone's doing good today. Do me one favor. I just asked for one favor. I don't care if you hit the like button. I don't care if you comment. But share this with someone. Share with one person. How this show continues to grow and build and change lives is if you share with one person. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to reach out to my guest shortly. Let's see. All right, let's put the call in. Let's see. Let me check something. All right. Hi,
Hi,
how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed, and I am just thankful that you're able to spend time with us on the Collab Show where stories are shared. And I always say, I say I'm interviewing you, but this is just like a casual conversation. I want to just change the whole stigma with interviews and really get to the heart of a person, the heart of their story. So I understand that time is someone's greatest asset, and I thank you for spending time with us on the Collab Show.
Oh, no problem. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invite.
And you go by the name Teresa, correct?
I do.
All right, I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. So we'll get started. I reached out to Teresa in the past. This is my new page, and I just saw the great things that you were doing. Just the resume, just for me, it blew me away. And I was like, those are the type of individuals that I want to sit down, talk with, pick their brain, learn. And I just thought it would just be a blessing to have you on the show. So without further ado, I'll get to our first question. What is the background story from your most passionate work? Just all the many hats that you wear. What's the background story in that regard?
The background story is pain and suffering. It was all birthed from a death.
Mm,
And it started in 2015. Although I've been in the arts all my life with music, singing, and things like that. But as far as like really making a difference and being in the forefront, it started with death. So 2015, my grandmother passed, and
sorry to
uh,
hear that.
yeah, and she was like very dear to me. She was just like, we were sisters, like she was like my mother. And so when she passed, I was taking it really, really hard. And my pastor at the time, which was my mother-in-law at the time, she said, God told me to tell you to write. And so I'm like, did he tell you what I'm supposed to be writing? Because like I don't know where do I go with that? So I sat down and I started, writing, and I just started. It became very therapeutic to write about all the hurt. But then, after maybe about 4 or 5 months of writing, I said, well, why don't I write something where someone can actually read this and gain something from it? Maybe there could be some victory, not all hurt. And so that's how the writing process started. Within 3 or 4 months, I was a national best-selling author. I started going on television, being interviewed by Virginia Good Morning, Fox 16, and all these other wonderful places. Sold over like 10,000 books in a very short span. Awesome. And I didn't know what I was doing. So, so that's how it all started, from my very first book.
Before I cut you off, I just want you guys out in the comment section just to send some hearts, clap, a round of applause, just for the fact of just having the courage to just go for it. Yeah. And trusting God, and God always tells you what to do, but he don't necessarily tell you how. He just says, do it. And I just want to just take a moment. That is just an amazing, to be able to yield to his voice, to yield to who God speaks to. They say God, even if he's quiet, he's going to be loud in someone else to talk to you. So either way, he's talking to you, but it'll be either from him or through someone else. So that's just amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't very like discovery overnight type of thing that I wasn't expecting. And the journey started with, book tours, and like I said, going on TV, being in interviews like such as this, being in newspapers, magazines, and it just soared from there. So I ended up writing a trilogy of this first particular book. I have 5 books total. But the trilogy is what had Christian fiction readers like on edge, because it was suspense, and the reason why television was interested in it, because the ending of the very first book, there was a death. The protagonist got killed in the church. So wow. Yeah, so that they were like, who writes stuff like that? I was like, I do. So yeah, it took off from books to I started becoming a playwright. Put the play out there. Play was also at shows all throughout North Carolina. I said, okay, well, I think I'm onto something. I tried to dabble in a little bit in film, and then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? And although we think that was the time to pray and write, and like we were so nervous about all these people dying around us, we couldn't focus on writing a book. So I said, I have to do something else to get my mind going, and that's when I started my talk shows.
I'm seeing it. I'm just seeing just like a trend from just a conversation I'm having with you in your life of pain comes, and it's like it pushes you, it forces you into that creative mode. And that is something that I want to share with you guys is, if you guys are believers, if you're not, cool, I am. But God didn't start creating until he was surrounded by darkness. If you really look at it, he started when there was formlessness, there was void, there was emptiness, there was darkness, and that's when he creates. And I'm seeing that God gene, he made us in his image. I'm seeing that inside of you, where there's pain, and there's devastation, and there's hurt. But it's like, okay, we're gonna grieve, we're gonna go through the emotions, but bam, we're gonna use this, and we're gonna create something out of that. And I want to know where that comes from. I didn't. This question I didn't tell you beforehand, but I'm sorry, you sparked this in me. I want to know, where does that come from, where pain hits, and it's like, okay, let's make something. Where someone else, pain hits, and they might never recover.
Right. So I had a very strong mother. She was one of those mothers that you better not cry And I'm gonna say it how she used to say it. No offense to any nationality or race, but
Yeah.
she used to say, "Don't you let them white folks see you cry." And
Mm.
so, that was her big thing, because you're supposed to present yourself as this strong, powerful woman. And she grew up. She's partial Indian. She grew up in a house with two full-blooded Indians who they didn't they didn't show emotion. There was no crying. You got your butt kicked if you cried. And she was one of 10. So you had to fight sisters, brothers, community, everybody. So you had no choice but to be strong, even if you wasn't.
Yeah.
And so, with that being instilled in me, I was always that type of person that after I do my little sniffling and I have my little tantrum, I get right back up and I do what I got to do. I get right back up and I start the process. And so that was the same thing with my grandmother's death. It was, I'm going to start this process no matter how bad I feel, because this is what I've been taught. So, it all depends on, that type of support system that you have. My mother was sitting there full of brain cancer when I wrote that first book. She didn't get to see the fruition of the book actually being put together, but she saw the cover. And even there, swollen with brain cancer and going back and forth and couldn't walk. And she said, "You're going to finish that book. You're going to finish that book." And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm going to finish that book." So she died like May 4th. The book came out like May 24th, 2016. So
Mm.
it was just amazing. I said, okay, my angel is making sure that this book gets to every person that reads Christian fiction. So that's basically my story. I just had the support. I had that person in my ear.
And I think that's just beautiful. What you're sharing is the importance of having somebody around you telling you, "Oh, you gonna do this. I know you didn't say it. Oh, I don't know. No, you about to. This is about to happen." How important it is to have that in your life. Anyone, I don't care if it's a friend, I don't care if it's auntie, uncle, brother Ray across the street. It doesn't matter. Someone that is just saying, "You know what? You're gonna make it. You're gonna accomplish things. I know it looks murky right now. I know it doesn't make sense right now, but you are going to thrive." And it leads me to my next question. What piece of advice, maybe from your mother, maybe from your grandmother, maybe from anyone that's had like a really strong influence on the overall growth of you as a human being in life, where toughest days, rockiest days, you hear that voice inside of you telling you, "Do this, do that," and you're like, "Oh, okay." And it really just sets the tone for you to just get back on your feet and to keep going.
Well, my old church used to have a slogan that was posted on the one of the walls, and it said, "Overcomers never quit, and quitters never overcome."
Mm.
So that alone, when you go to church, Bible study, and then, you got choir rehearsal on Saturday and then Sunday service, you get to see that 3 times a week. It becomes a part of your being. And I'm a firm believer, you can't overcome anything if you just give up. You can't overcome anything if you just said this is the end of the world. I just had a conversation with a girlfriend today, because COVID is running rampant, and she had a friend to pass away 2 days ago of COVID. I've lost 13 people, including 2 of my artists, to COVID, and she just wanted to waddle in the bed. She didn't want to do anything. And I said, you got to get up out of that bed. You can't stay there. You cannot quit because she's gone. She would want you to continue on. And so it's always good to have someone around who can give you that encouragement, that push. I was fortunate enough that I had a gang of people, because both my side, my family, my dad and my mom is huge. So I had a gang and I'm the oldest grandchild on my dad's side. So anything I did, they was like, "Yay, Teresa." So, I was fortunate enough to have that support. And when I started doing those books, word of mouth became the most powerful source. Because of so many family members, I would send books out free to some of the family members and say, just go ahead and give it to somebody. And when they give it to somebody, they read it, and that somebody tells somebody else, and that next thing you know, the books in libraries, and you don't know how it got where it got, but somebody told somebody about your book. And so it's just that push that we need, that support, that should be powerful for everyone if you get up and just do what you got to do. But you got to get up.
Got to get up,
You gotta get up.
And I'm seeing in the comment section, my wife says powerful. She says you have to move on with the situation, create creativity at its finest. And I'm thinking about your story is you saying get up and keep it moving. And that quote from your church, I've mentally noted that is quitters, they don't overcome. Because when you quit, you stop the process, like in its track.
Right.
And sometimes a lot of us, when we're in the midst of the breakdown, we're seconds away from the breakthrough, but we quit before the breakthrough gets here. So we just, I can't take it no more. This is annoying. This is too much. And we don't know. It's like right when we quit, that's when there was a knock on the door. That's when there's a call that can change your life, but we give up too soon. I want you to give a word of advice to someone out there, because I know that they need to hear this today.
Yes, I'm raising my hands
this.
up to the Lord, because I'm telling you, that's how it works. I got a testimony just now. So I moved to Georgia in October of 2020 during the pandemic. Brave, right? And I came here because God told me to come here. I started doing talk shows. The plays were doing very well. I became a Sony Orchard distributor. I started a magazine. Like, all these things were flourishing, and I was like, okay, it's time to move to somewhere where I can really push some of these products. And so I came here. I was, had just recently divorced. I didn't have money to be, Atlanta's expensive. I didn't have money to really live here, right? And most of the products that I had at that particular time weren't really flourishing because of the pandemic. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to stay online with my school system in North Carolina, since we're all in-house. They don't need to know that I moved. And then when school is over, I'm going to join forces with the school system in Georgia. But something kept telling me, no, that's not what you came there for. You came there to push your products. You came there to do your business. You didn't come there to be a teacher, because it's comfortable. It's what I've been doing it for 15 years. So that's what I know, right? Go to school, get all these degrees, and you're the master teacher. You know how to do everything by teaching. You just something you do, right?
Yep.
So and you get comfortable with knowing that there's a check that's going to be there, and you're comfortable with knowing you have these benefits and all this other stuff. So even though money was coming in and God was showing me, you don't need that job, I kept saying, I ain't ready. Give me that check and give me the money that's coming in, right? So I went back to the school system like a nut, thinking I had already heard it. That's the thing about it. I had already heard I was not supposed to go back. So I went back the very first day of school. First day kids come back. I pulled some kids. I'm sped teacher, so I pull you for reading and math and all that. And, I'm thinking I'm dope doing what I'm doing, right? Next day, I come to work, and I find out that 2 of the parents of the kids that I pulled that Monday, that very first day of school, took their children out of my class because I was Black. They said, I don't want her teaching because it's a predominantly white school. I was the 3rd African American to be hired there, and the other 2 African Americans that worked there had been there for like over a decade. So they were kind of untouchable. But here I am with all this experience and thinking, I'm gonna rock this. I had never encountered such where a parent didn't want me to deal with their child. And I'm like, okay, I got all these degrees, I got all these certifications, And then I just kept hearing God in the back of my head, like, didn't I tell you not to go back? So Wednesday, August 25th, I left my job. I couldn't take it no more. Every day it was something, right? I didn't know how I was going to survive. I mean, I do get a little income coming in with all my little stuff that I do, but it was like within a matter of hours, he was directing me, telling me what to do, telling me what I need to get. I made my one paycheck in 2 days after quitting.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, when you have the faith and I don't know, if you have to be a believer or not, because it's a higher being. If you're not a Christian, there's a higher something, and you know that it's going to lead you in the right direction. You can manifest success. You can do that because you have that higher being within you. So for me, it's Jesus Christ. And I look up and I'm like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need you to help me. I need you to guide me through this process. And I wasn't even unemployed for 2 days. So you have to have that strength and that courage just to, if you know that is what you're being told, you stand to it, you stand on it, and you go with it, and it'll work out. So that's my advice. Go with your inner gut and progress. Don't second guess yourself. Don't stop. Do what you got to do and get to where you need to go.
And when I'm hearing Teresa, follow the chain of command. God's over us, and follow the chain of command. He's told you, and there's a reason why he's telling you. He saw what those parents was going to do, and he tried to prevent that. And if we listen to him sooner, it'll prevent all the unnecessary obstacles and struggles that we go through by just listening to him.
Exactly.
And that's something that we have to understand, that God sees what's on the alley. He sees what's on the highway. He sees the people that are talking about you. He told you to cut them off. He heard the conversation you didn't hear. He said, don't go there because sun's going up. Trust that inner voice. Trust God's voice, and he is going to provide for you. That's something that I want to let you guys know. The creation story is probably one of my favorite stories in the Bible because it's showing that think about that. That's God's first sermon. A lot of people don't look at it like that when he says, let there be light, let there be this, that, and the third. He's setting the tone of, this is the made away sermon. So I want you to go back to that sermon every time someone says this is impossible, there's no cure, there's no way you'll get the funding for this. Go back to that Genesis, the creation story, and see all that he made a way for. And once you go to that and understand the chain of command, everything in your life's going to fall into place. Leads me to my last question. I'm sorry, I don't understand why this went so fast, but I've just enjoyed the time we've had. We got to do this again because I've been inspired. I've been moved. Made me think of my own life when I was at a position, at a job, comfortable job, and deciding to just leave and trusting God's voice to say it's time to go. And I'm saying to myself, it ain't time. Give me a couple of weeks. Give me a couple of months. Let me get some things together. Let me put this in this account and then that in that account. No, leave. And had not followed that voice and did it the way he wanted me to do, it would have blew up in my face. And I thought to myself that it's never going to be the perfect time. I want anyone to know that out there right now. You're waiting for the perfect time to leave something, to do something, to accomplish something. There's a lot of people in the cemetery today that wanted the perfect time to do something, and the next day wasn't their day.
Exactly.
So I want you guys to understand Teresa is a prime example, turning pain into creativity, molding it in something that's a masterpiece, using her pain for the greater good. That's what you guys need to do in your life. You don't need more. I want to tell somebody this before I get to my last question. Out there, you don't need more. You need to just maximize what God gave you. Say that one more time. You don't need more. Work on. He said, when you take care of less, then I'll give you more. If I can't trust you with less, how do you expect to get more? So maximize what you already have in your possession, and then you'll be sitting like Teresa over here, wearing these many hats, doing the great things out there in Atlanta. Last question, Teresa. I know people are eager to hear how they can get a hold of your books, anything you got going on. I don't care if you're selling some ketchup. Anything that you got going on right now, let people know so that we can support you, that we can share something, and we can, continue to encourage you to do the greater things that you're doing in this life.
Listen, don't be giving me no ideas talking about ketchup. You have me trying to put something together, trying to sell some ketchup.
Right.
But if you want to buy my books, all my books are on Amazon under the name Teresa B. So you can just go to Amazon, anywhere books are sold, Barnes and Noble, Walmart. Just look up Teresa B. and my books are there. The trilogy is called That Church Life, and then I have a Positive Vibes Only, which is like an affirmation book, and then I have a book called Delayed But Not Denied. So my books are pretty juicy if you like church drama. But you can get all of those on Amazon or wherever books are sold. As far as my plays, you can contact me about screenwriting or playwriting at info@teresabhowell.com. If you want to participate in any of my shows, I have Amplified Exposure Live, where I interview celebrities. And then I have The Heat Seekers, where I interview indie artists. You can reach me for that at teresabproductions@gmail.com. And for my magazine, if you want to be featured or you have ads or things that you want to display in the Heat Seekers magazine, that magazine is about all indie. She says she loves the drama.
My
Yeah,
wife,
girl, you gotta go get them books, because I'm telling you, be like, oh, that happened in the church. Yes, hunty. I brought it in the church. So yeah. So if you want to be part of the Heat Seekers magazine, you want to put ads in, you need ad space, or you want me to do a feature on you if you're an indie singer, writer, cook, producer, indie anything, I'll interview you. And the magazine, oh my God, is doing so well. Thousands and thousands of readers, and it's been less than a year on the market. So I'm very proud. But that's how you reach me, teresabhowell.com, tbproductions.org, info@teresabhowell.com.
all right, there you have it. You guys, make sure you watch this again and share with a friend. I'm telling you, you're going to be moved. I am thankful the Collab Show, just speak on representative of the Collab Show. Thank you for spending time with us today. This was an absolute fantastic interview, and I look forward to interviewing you in the future. So thank you again for your time, and I wish you and your family nothing but prosperity and success in the coming years.
Same to you and yours. And can you tell me, you said Darkness. What was the title? Because that's a good book title you just put out there.
Oh, you saw when I was talking about the creation? Oh,
Yes.
I was saying that God didn't start creating until he was surrounded by darkness, formlessness, and void. So that's
Okay.
when he actually got into creative mode because of being surrounded by darkness. So
So
yeah,
creation started by darkness.
yes.
That's a book title.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna give you some of the royalties. That's a book title.
Yeah, I claim it for you. I think that's gonna be a juicy read.
Yeah, I think so too. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I wish you the best for you and your family, your lovely wife. Go out there and get those books, people, so you can get some of that church drama.
All right, you have an amazing day, and you take care.
All right, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That was great, folks. Thank you again for tuning in to the Collab Show. How you can help this show continue to thrive and grow, share it with one person. And I'm telling you, Teresa is doing some great things. I was moved by that interview. And that's the whole purpose of collabing with other people in the world, is just finding that positivity, finding someone's story, and just finding those motivational nuggets that you can gain from that, the wisdom that you can gain from their stories and their their view towards obstacles and how they actually went through those obstacles with a positive mindset. So thank you again for tuning in to the Collab Show. Next week, we'll have brand new episodes. If you want to see who's coming up, check my video reels on my page. You're going to see the upcoming interviews I have. If you know someone that would be a good fit to be on the Collab Show that's doing positive things in your community, in your family, you can send that information to me and we'll get it set up. But like I said, you guys continue to support the Collab Show. Head over to my YouTube page. It's under Ivory McKee, my full name. TikTok under the Ivory McKee or Ivory McKee, and then go on Clubhouse, Ivory McKee as well, and continue to support what I'm doing out there as well. You guys keep the faith and have an amazing Friday.